It's been over a month since our last rebuild here on kodeTitan. Apologies for the gap, but I recently came across an awards-worthy interaction that immediately caught my attention. When you first land on the website, Elements covers the space with cool slide-in effect, giving the premium feel right away. As you scroll, the layout shifts into a smooth horizontal scroll, and the navigation elements seamlessly animate into view, again giving the incredibly premium feel. But for this video, we are going to focus entirely on what happens next, the menu animation itself. When you click the menu button, the entire menu section slides up from the bottom with a precise easy in out transition, followed by internal elements entering with a satisfying staggered animation. It's a relatively small interaction, but it completely transforms how the interface feels. We haven't covered a navigation rebuild like this on the channel yet, so it felt like a perfect candidate for a rebuild. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how to build this interactive menu using HTML, CSS and JavaScript powered by GSAP to handle the heavy lifting of the animation logic. If you find these Awwwards rebuilds helpful, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're looking for the source code, it'll be in the description and the pinned comment. Alright, let's jump straight into the code. Let's start with the HTML structure. I'm keeping this super clean and organized so the animations are easy to control later. I have already written the basic meta tags and our title, and at the bottom I'm loading GSAP from my CDN. Alright, let's write the structure. Inside the body, everything lives inside a main wrapper with a class app. Think of this as our entire stage. Inside the app, we have navigation bar. It has two parts, the logo on the left and the menu button on the right. The button itself contains text and a small circle element. We are separating these intentionally so we can animate them independently later. You will also notice an extra class on the button called Open Menu. This is a modifier class that helps us clearly identify that this version of the button is responsible for opening the menu. We will use it in JavaScript to target the open state cleanly without affecting other elements. Next comes the full screen menu overlay. This is the menu div that covers the entire screen and stays hidden initially. Inside it, we structure things into two main sections. At the top, we have the main navigation links like projects, expertise, agency, and the contact. Beside that, we have extra info like location and social links. They are grouped separately so we can animate them with stagger effects easily. Below that, we have two more elements. On the left, an image container, and on the right, the big title where each letter of Akaru is wrapped in its own h1 tag. That gives us full control to animate each letter individually. Alright, after the menu, we have the hero section. This is the main visible content when the page loads. Big typography split into rows and a full screen image at the bottom to give it that premium look. And that's it for the structure. Nothing complicated till now. Now let's move on to the styling and actually make this look expensive instead of plain HTML. Alright, let's start with a basic reset. I'm removing default margin and padding from all elements and setting box sizing border box. This makes the layout calculation predictable and avoids weird spacing issues later. Next, I'm defining few color variables at the root level. By using CSS variables, we can control the entire color system from one place instead of hard coding values everywhere. After that, I am importing two custom fonts using font face. One font is for general text and the other font is for bold expressive headings. Then I set up a responsive font scaling system on the HTML element. Here I am calculating the base font size relative to the viewport width. This allows all rem units to scale proportionally across screen sizes without manually adjusting everything. On the body, I apply the main font and set the background and text colors using the variables we just defined earlier. This establishes the base visual theme. Now for the typography, I style H1 with a secondary font and make it very large with a tight line height. H2, paragraphs, spans and list elements get smaller sizes, creating a clear visual hierarchy between titles and supporting content. Next, I move to the navigation styling. The nav is fixed at the top so that it can be visible at all times. I use Flexbox to space the logo and button apart. I also apply Mix Blend Mode Difference, which helps the white nav adapt visually over different background tones. It's a subtle detail, but it makes the design feel more refined. The menu button itself is styled as a rounded pill shape with padding and a small red circle accent. Flexbox keeps the text and circle aligned nicely. Now let's style the hero section. I make it full viewport height using height 100 VH. Inside, rows are spaced using Flexbox so content fits on opposite ends, creating that clean agency style layout. The large hero title is scaled up significantly to create visual impact. The hero image fills the entire viewport width and height using object fit cover to maintain proportions without distortion. Now for the main part, the menu overlay. The menu is positioned fixed and stretched across the entire screen. This allows it to sit on top of everything else when activated. It has a dark background with a light text to create strong contrast from the hero section. Inside the menu wrapper uses a column layout to distribute content vertically. This keeps the top navigation content and bottom branding visually separated. Each menu row uses Flexbox to align items horizontally and space them apart. The first section contains navigation links and info blocks, spaced using padding and gap for proper breathing room. And on the other hand, second row aligns content to the bottom, which gives that balanced layout between the media block and the big title letters. The media container is given fixed width and height so it feels structured and intentional, not fluid and random. The image inside uses object fit cover, again to maintain its proportion cleanly. The menu title uses inline flex so each letter can sit side by side and be animated individually later. Finally, I add a media query for small screens. On mobile, the base font size recalculates for smaller viewports. Headings shrink slightly. The menu layout stacks vertically instead of staying side by side. The media preview is hidden to reduce clutter. This ensures the design remains readable and balanced across devices instead of breaking awkwardly. And that's the CSS. Now we can move into JavaScript and actually bring this interface to life. But before jumping in, a quick reminder that if you're liking the video so far, drop the like and subscribe if you haven't already. It gives me so much motivation. Alright, now we are at the fun part. So first I'm grouping all important elements into two objects, menu and button. Inside menu, I grab the full menu overlay, the page links, the info text, each big title letters and the media container. Inside button, I grab the button element, the text span and open menu class. This keeps things organized and easy to animate later. Next, I define a clip path object. Now, clip path is a confusing topic, so let me just explain you in easy way. Clip path controls which portion of an element is visible by masking out the rest. In simple terms, it is like using scissors on a photo. You decide which part stays visible and which part disappears. I hope that you understood. So this object stores three states: init, that is fully visible, bottom, that is hidden from bottom, and finally top, which is hidden from top. Then I create a GSAP timeline TL menu. It's paused by default, meaning it won't run until we tell it to. I also define default duration and easing here. Now the state variable is enabled. This simply tracks whether the menu is open or closed. Without this, we wouldn't know whether to play or reverse animations. Now we will write the init menu function. This runs when the page loads. Here I set the initial hidden state. The full menu is clipped from the bottom and pointer events are disabled. Links and info text are pushed down and hidden. Title letters are shifted, rotated slightly and scaled down. And the media is clipped from the top. Basically everything starts invisible and ready to animate in. Then I call the animate inner menu function to define the timeline. So let's write animate inner menu function. Inside this function, we use the timeline we created above and start adding animations to it. First, the page links slide up and fade in with a small stagger. Then, the info text does the same, keeping the motion consistent. Next, the title letters rotate back, scale up and settle into place. Since this starts at time 0, it gives the animation instant energy. After that, the media section is revealed by changing its clip path to the init state. Notice the important part. We defined this animation once. Later, we just play or reverse the timeline. Now, we will write a function that handles opening and closing the menu overlay. The animate menu function. In this, logic is very simple. If the menu is closed, animate clip path to fully visible and enable pointer events. And if the menu is open, animate clip path to upward. And when animation finished, disable pointer events again. So visually, it slides in and out, but technically we are just animating clip path. We need another function to animate button function. In this function, when the button text changes, we don't just swap text instantly. We fade the button out, change the text, and then fade it back in. A small detail, but big polish difference. Alright, we have written all the function that is needed. Now we have to call them. So we will create an add event listeners function. Inside this, we will add the click event listener to button. On click, if is enabled closed, open the menu, change the text to close and play the timeline. And if the is enabled open, then close the menu, change the text back to menu and reverse the timeline. Then we will flip the is enabled. And finally, the wait is over. We have written so much code but nothing is happening. So let's make that happen. Let's add the event listener to window, and on DOM content loaded, we initialize everything and attach the click listener. And boom, everything is working. Now let's check it out on our own. If you find this rebuild and explanation worth watching, consider subscribing. I build these awesome rebuilds on this channel. Check out the channel for more rebuilds and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace out.